So this is just We the People News. Alright. I was just kind of sitting back, relaxing, and I thought I'll just go on to YouTube and check up what other people had to say about notice of liability. Okay? So I just brushing through and I happened to click on this. Now, I just went to his channel because what he found out was interesting, and I just wanted to kind of go on his channel and just kind of look around. Okay? And then I came across this. Now, this video was titled Guilty or Not Guilty. Okay? However, he found something really interesting. And before I get any further, this is We the People News. I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. Just opinions. If I say anything at all. Alright? I never look straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary. Alright. So a heads up. There's an attorney involved in this. But it was back in the 60s. And he looked like he is up in age at this time frame. So even attorneys back then are way different than attorneys now. Even though I didn't trust them then, and I don't trust them now, they're still way different. Here we go. Let's check this out, people.
Hi, folks. Just a quick one. Just picked this up on the face-ache, but it's exceptionally profound. It's Johnny Carson's show, and I'm presuming it's back in the 60s. Discussing... well, he's actually introducing his guest, who is an attorney who has some exceptionally interesting things to say. So without further ado, let's crack on.
Man, would you welcome, please, Mr. Jake Ehrlich. Good evening, Counselor. I always hear that. They say that on television all the time.
Sam Bandit show, they don't.
They don't say that. Why do they always say it in those other series? Counselor all the time. Do lawyers talk to each other that way?
No. You ought to hear lawyers talk to each other.
This is a most fascinating book. As I mentioned to you briefly in a little time we had to say hello before the program, I get probably 30 or 40 books a month from people who appear on the show, and most of them you don't have a chance to really look through. You look some of the highlights. And I sat up the last 2 nights with this book and called A Reasonable Doubt and got so fascinated. I guess the lay people who don't know much about the workings of the law, this is all fascinating.
I'm glad you like it.
What you do. Most interesting. One statement you had in here, it says when you are defending somebody, you say the first thing that you tell them is never plead guilty.
Never plead guilty. Every man's entitled to a trial. He's presumed to be innocent until the contrary is proved to a moral certainty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's his right under the law, and he ought to avail himself of that right.
So never...
I want to stop right there. Remember, he said contract. I rewind it and kind of re-listen again. To contract.
Never plead guilty. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your name? What is your name?
I refuse to answer. No. My name is Johnny Carson.
How do you know that to be your name?
Well, it's on a birth certificate. Legally
That's
recorded.
hearsay.
That's hearsay?
Of course.
I mean, if it's legally recorded?
That's still hearsay. Suppose you were born, and I must assume that you were born here tonight with us. There's a certificate made out not by you, certificate made out by somebody else. That a boy child was born to Mr. and Mrs. Carson, and that he was named Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you know that to be the fact. That means you have read that to be the fact.
Yeah, I see what you mean. In other words, I only have to go by what is recorded.
You're pleading guilty to something that you don't know of your own knowledge.
In other words, I should have said, if somebody asked me who I am, I say I plead not guilty. Right on. He doesn't go point that. I'm not plead not guilty. I see what you mean. That is hearsay. I'm accepting what somebody has said.
Somebody else has said.
Well, that would be legal. I mean, if you come in with a birth certificate, that proves you're born.
Well, birth certificates are legal until they're attacked and proved to be invalid. That has happened too.
I can say more.
Legal too until it's been tacked and valid. Otherwise. The reason why I brought this up is because in my other previous videos way back, okay, I don't know, 6 months, a year back or so, I talked about birth certificates, hearsay. You know, your name and date of birth and all that. Can any one of y'all, beyond a shadow of a doubt, with full hand knowledge of the fact that you remember the particular place, time that you was born and came into the wide world? Can any one of y'all know that beyond a shadow of a doubt? Because remember, y'all, there's been adoptions out there that the kids didn't know about. They assumed the parents were their parents. But come to find out, they are not. So there you go. Everything, due to your birth certificate, your name, and the year you was born, is hearsay. So they didn't think about that. They wanted a birth certificate down to DV, but that was just hearsay. When the Real ID Act came up. Oh, well, here's a birth certificate to get this Real ID Act, but it was still hearsay. You don't know for a fact that was you. Alright. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting because I'd never seen this before. I didn't even know people brought this up way back in the 60s. Okay? I thought because of the influx of the internet, people's, just pondering around. But for me, I just really thought this is interesting because of the simple fact I've talked about it being hearsay. And they cannot hold that against you if it's hearsay. Just saying. Alright. Remember, the whole course in there, everybody's in there is in conflict of interest against you. And everybody in there, unless it's a witness that's seen, appeared in that court, everybody else is coming out of their mouth is talking about hearsay. Your ex-wife's attorney over there, everything he says is hearsay. Prosecutor saying that you're speeding going 90 miles an hour, cop's not there, that attorney's going by hearsay. If your attorney is speaking on your behalf, it is by hearsay in the courts. Everything in the courts is circling all by hearsay until one facts will come up, and usually it's by a witness that's seen something. And even then, if you got 5 witnesses, there's 5 different stories. Which one's true and correct? Alright, this will be the People News. Bye, y'all.